So now again, the functionality here looks almost identical to our user script. And let's see just how similar the two scripts are. I'm going to go back to our site folder, and let's use a file comparison tool to compare the products.php file and the users.php file, which is identical to our previous step. I'm going to open up File Merge, which is the program that I use here on my Mac, but there are other programs you can use. Just take a look at some of the previous videos on comparing files, and we'll go ahead and compare these two. So it says here we have 38 differences, and we have our products.php file on this side and our original users.php file on this side. And if you scroll down, I'm just scrolling down here, you can see that the lines line up nearly identically to one another. There's just a couple of spots where we have some additional lines on one side versus the other. But if we scroll down, you can see that the structure is pretty much identical. And the differences really are in the naming. So we have administer products on this side and administer users on this side. The name of this function and every other function is changed to use the word products instead of the word users. In this listing function here, in our SQL query, we select from products instead of from users, and we order by title instead of by username. Now, when it comes to working with rows of data, whether we're displaying it like we are here, editing it, deleting it, or adding it, then the names of the fields are going to be different. So on this side, we have PID, title, price, and then we have links to the products.php file to edit and delete. Over on this side, we have UID, username, and then links to the users.php file. And then when we output the labels for the table columns, they're going to be different for our products versus our users. In our output, if there are no results, we say there are no products. On this side, we say there are no users. And then when we add our link to add a new record, on this side, we're going to say add products, and we're going to point to the products.php file instead of on this side where we say users.php and add a user. As we continue to scroll down, you'll see the same synchronicity between the two files. In our add edit form function, you see all of these gray lines are different between the two, but if you look at the differences, they just boil down to the names of the fields and switching out the word user for the word product. I'm going to continue to scroll down, and you can see when we're dealing with nearly identical lines because these gray lines line up with one another. There are cases though where you see a slight curve here where there are multiple rows that align to fewer rows or more rows on the other side. So in this case, we have more rows on this side because we can edit one more field for products than we can for users. So this is just a little bit bigger. But as we continue to scroll down, you see the gray lines lining up. Over here, we have a group of unique lines that are in the user page, but not on the product page. And this is because this is checking the validity of a username. And this is a validation that we don't need over on the product side. So I'll continue scrolling down. And now we're back to lining up all of the gray lines, and I'm scrolling. And over here, now we have one extra line, again, because we have one more field that we can modify, but it still lines up with the same process over on the user side. So I'll keep scrolling and continue to scroll. And now we're at the bottom. So probably by now, you're looking at this and thinking, there's got to be some way that we can generalize this functionality so we can use the same architecture and the bulk of the same code between these two pages and boil down the differences to maybe an array of information that we can pass to a set of functions. So that's what we're going to do in our next step. But before we get there, let's look at what other aspects of our site that this changed, because now we're using products from the database instead of from an array inside of our data folder.